I play so many card games, but I've basically never played Magic the Gathering. I've played like one game with a starter deck. I'm pretty sure I was playing with the wrong rules. But today, the big challenge is, can I rate Magic the Gathering cards correctly? I'm with Fresh Lobster.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I have intensively played the latest set of Magic the Gathering. I'm pretty new to the game, but I have been binging it. I did reach rank 66 on the global ladder. I did win a bunch of displays as prizes, so I think I'm very experienced on the current set. And we will be rating cards in the limited format, which means draft as well as sealed. So more like a natural face value of the cards.
Yeah, I'm slightly terrified, but I'm going to give it my best go. Thanks to Card Market, the channel sponsor. It's the biggest online marketplace of trading card games in Europe. First card. I haven't seen any of these.
One of my favorites, actually. This is a spicy one. I wanted to start with a bang. Go ahead, read it. Tell me what you think.
Mathemagics. Okay. Sorcery. Target player draws 2 X cards to the power of...
the power of X.
What? That's a new one. 2 to the power of 0 equals 1. 2 to the power of 1 equals 2. Okay, yeah, I understand how that works. And so on. But what is X exactly? Target player draws... That's the amount of mana that you would spend,
exactly.
I guess?
Check the cost. It costs 2 blue mana, and then you have to pay X twice. So it depends on how much mana you have available.
Right.
You can choose who draws how many cards.
And so the mana symbols in the top right, it means 2 blue mana. And is that 2 any kind of mana, or is that another specific kind?
The gray one means any kind.
Okay, so it's 4 mana.
So
wait, but if you're spending 4 mana, is it 4x? Is that how it works?
Yeah, no, if you're spending 4 mana total, X is 1.
Yeah, okay.
So some player draws 2 cards. There, like it really helps on the screen, like 2 to the power of 0. One player draws 1 card for 2. One player draws 2 cards for 4. One player draws 4 cards for 6 total.
Yep.
8 cards for 8.
Got ya.
16 for 10, and so on. 32 for 12.
I mean, that is an absolute brain melter.
Yep.
Peter said to begin with, do you want to start easy? I was like, nah, just give me the whole one. So I'm slightly regretting that decision early on. So if I'm getting my head around it, if you pay 3 extra mana, you would draw 8 cards.
Yeah, you'd need to pay 6 total.
6 total.
Sorry, no, 8 total. My bad.
Yeah, so 2 to the power of 3. So you pay 4 and then an extra 3. Is that how it would work? This card's so confusing.
Yeah, I mean, I always think in even numbers, right?
Right.
You spend 2 total, you draw 1. You spend 4 total, you draw 2.
But that's on top of the additional 4 costs to begin with, right? Oh no, the X mana is...
Yes.
Okay. So you by default, you draw...
Even if you just played for 2, someone draws 1 card.
Right, so the X isn't specific, like, okay, that's what's getting me confused. I thought it was like a 4-cost card, but it's like a 2-cost card, and you can decide how many X manas you play.
Exactly.
Okay, now it's all making sense. Now I can actually understand what the heck the card means now. So, okay, it's better than I was initially thinking then. So if you're spending, 2X, you draw 4 for 4 cards, but then if you spend 5, 8 cards... I mean, if you've got an abundance of mana, that starts to get pretty good pretty quickly. I'm going to go ahead and say it's really good. I think in a slow control deck where you've got an abundance of resources, you can start, especially in like a limited format. I don't know how valuable card draw is, but I imagine you don't have an abundance of it. And that you can just get to those game states. In the early game, you can pay like 2 and it's like fine. You just get rid of it right out of your hand if worse comes to worse. But... it's got that potential of being super explosive and just winning you the game on the spot. So I'm going to say it's really good.
Okay. On a scale from 1 to 5 or 0 to 5, how good is it?
I'm going to give it a... Can we go to 10? Like
okay. From 0 to 10.
I'm going to give it a 9.
I think you're actually pretty much spot on. It has a 62% win rate when drawn in the limited format. The highest the highest win rate card is like 65 or 66. So this is like the 10th highest, 15th highest win rate card of the set. One thing you missed so far, this card says target player draws this many cards.
Oh, you can mill your opponent?
In Magic Limited, card decks only have 40 cards in them.
Ooh.
So... you draw 7 at the start of the game, you're already at 33. So if you get to the 32 rank point, it's usually an instant win if your opponent has no counter to it.
And how does the mill rule work? Is it like if they just draw from an empty deck, they lose on the spot?
Exactly.
So if you go for 6x, you pay 8 mana, GG.
Pretty much. Well, no, it's you didn't need to double pay X.
Right, okay.
So if you pay 10 mana, your opponent draws 16 cards. That's usually as far as you'll get. And very often it is going to be enough to finish your opponent, because by then you'll already have drawn through 20 cards of your deck. But the guaranteed win is if you can get 12 mana together, mill them for 32.
Damn.
And yeah, usually if you mill your opponent, they still need to draw at the start of their turn to end the game, but this makes them overdraw. So if their deck is empty and you force them to draw one more, instantly over.
You see, I don't play Magic, but I do know the card Millstone, because that's where mill came from.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good card. Yeah.
I still don't really understand it that much, but at least I got a good
No, you were spot on. It's like the perfect flexibility of refilling your own hand or having the win condition of just turbo milling your opponent.
I have never seen a card game with to the power of something as an effect.
This card is special, man.
Yeah.
It took me so long to wrap my head around how this card works and whether or not it's good, but it's a banger.
I think I might have been overrating it a bit, to be honest, in terms of my own head. Like, I don't think it's as good as I was thinking, because I thought the card was working slightly differently, but we take it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Next one. This is a bit more of a normal card.
Render Speechless. So it's a sorcery also. It's 2 something. So I guess it's like 4 mana, 2 colorless, 1 skull. Is that like land or something?
That's the black faction. Yeah, it's a swamp.
A swamp.
So this means you have to be playing black and white.
And what's the white? Is it like sun or something?
It's a plain.
A plain,
Plains.
okay. Yeah, plains and swamp. So sorcery, which I guess just means it's a spell. Target opponent reveals their hand. That's a good start. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Put 2 1/1 counters on up to 1 target creature on up to. Yeah, I mean, this card's cracked. You look at their hand, they discard a card, and you get to juice up one of your own units. In Riftbound, there's a card like this called Sabotage, extremely meta, where you can look at your opponent's hand and discard a non-unit card. Similarly, in Disney Arcana, there's lots of discard effects where you like look at your opponent's hand and can discard their win condition. It is pretty expensive for such an effect, right? Like 4 mana overall is expensive, but then you also get this like somewhat, I imagine, significant upside. Like I can imagine that like the 2+1/1 counters is going to change the maths quite a bit. That's pretty significant, right? So I think this card's really good. I think it's better than the last card, actually. In fact, I'm going to say it's a 10 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10. Okay.
Okay. And let me maybe. So we have to remember this also in the context of limited, right?
Exactly.
So the other card in limited is like very niche card draw, and like I would imagine in like constructed where there's like a big bad deck which you like they have a set win condition. Having said that, also information that you get from this, I'm sticking at 10 out of 10.
Okay. No, it's a reasonable guess. I gotta admit, I also overrated the card when I first saw it. I thought this was giga cracked, insane. You just get rid of your opponent's win condition. One thing I realized while playing the set a bunch is how important tempo is. So the main issue with this card is you are spending 4 mana to remove a card from your opponent's hand, which they have not spent mana on yet.
Sure.
So it's very expensive if you think about it as removal. You got to balance that, though, with the huge upside of the information of knowing what to play around and what not to play around. Getting rid of, like, disrupting their game plan, and potentially the 2+1/+1 counters.
Yep.
The other thing is, this card can be a bit snowbally. Like, the counters only matter if you already stuck something on the board. So
Yes,
it
sure.
can be a bit of a win more card.
And it's like it's not like a game like Disney Arcana or Star Wars Unlimited where you can put this into your resource area, right, as a land.
Yeah.
In Magic, obviously, it is just in your hand. And that's maybe something that I was underestimating when evaluating this card, right? I mean, Sabotage in Riftbound is extremely cheap. It's like 1 mana, and you have to recycle 1. Some of the Lorcana cards that I was talking about have the ability to... They're really good in certain spots, but then you can put them down as a land, which increases their flexibility. Whereas I can definitely see, like, in some matchups, having this in your hand early, it's just going to be stuck there indefinitely, right?
Yeah, especially if you are behind or if you're going second, it loses some value. So to get through the reveal, it's sporting a solid 57 and something % win rate.
Seems good.
Keep in mind, 55 is average in this stat pool, though, because the data is pulled from from good players, basically.
Okay.
So it's just above average. So in numbers, it would be like a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. Situationally, it's a 10 out of 10. I cannot disagree, but sometimes it can also be like a 3 out of 10 if you're behind getting run over. This does not save the tempo. This cannot change the course of the game.
Are you allowed to sideboard in limited, or do you just have a set deck?
If you play best of 3, you can sideboard.
Maybe it's
then
a
it's really good.
option, yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is the color limitation. You have to be in 2 colors. You have to have the lands quite consistently. It's a good card, but not amazing. All right, moving on. That's an interesting one.
Witherbloom, the Balancer. So 6 colorless, a swamp, and a forest. It's a legendary creature. It's an Elder Dragon. Oh, that's terrifying when you come from Riftbound. The Elder Dragons are a little bit broken in that game right now.
I cannot be stopped.
Affinity for creatures. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control. Flying and Death Touch. Flying, I guess, is like evasive or elusive from Runeterra, that sort of effect. And instant and sorcery spells you cast have affinity for creatures. So Death Touch, I would imagine that if anything touches this, it's going to die. It's like the Scorpion from Super Auto Pets.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the Scorpion from Super Auto Pets, which is a 1/1. But this is a 5/5, so you could get a few uses out of that Death Touch. Instant and sorcery spells. We saw sorcery spells already. Instant, I just think means like it's like a reaction speed, like have affinity for creatures. I don't really know what affinity means. Affinity for creatures.
Just above it explains it.
Right. This spell costs 1. Okay, so all of your instants and sorceries suddenly cost less for creatures. Now, in Magic, I don't know if a creature is like any character you have on the board.
Also a token, yeah.
Anything you have at all.
Yeah.
So it usually costs 8, but for every creature you have, it goes down by 1. So let's say like a reasonable amount of creatures would be to have 3 pretty comfortably. You could pay like 5 for this. I would imagine that flying in a sealed format is going to be very powerful. Like you need flying answers. You know, if your opponent just runs away flying and you don't have anything, you're probably going to get cooked. 5/5, I don't know how well statted that is. It seems not that well statted overall. But I'm going to go ahead and say the fact that it's reducing the cost of all of your instants and sorceries is really what makes this card particularly good, alongside a very, very solid keyword in flying. I am going to go ahead and say this one is an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay, do you want to get the conclusion right away?
Yeah.
All right. This card is sporting a rock solid 50% win rate.
Oh.
Keep in mind 55 is average in this stat pool. In numbers, it will probably be like a 2 or 3 out of 10.
Okay.
This is a classic example of a trap card. That's why I really wanted to include it. The issue with limited is, you said it earlier, you don't have an abundance of card draw.
Sure.
And the thing that's special about Magic specifically is like 60% or 40% of your draws are going to be lands.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's even harder to draw into creatures.
Sure.
This is usually going to be the most expensive card in your hand and the last one to play.
Yep.
And then you cannot really make value out of instant and sorcery spell discounts anymore because you have no hand left.
Yep.
That being said, the body is really good. In MTG, like 5/5 or 6/6 is usually as tall as creatures get.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes 7/7. Then, like, especially in Constructed, you can get +1/+1 counters to infinity. You can buff them to like 50/50s, one-shot your opponent. But in Limited, like, you rarely see something bigger than a 7/7. So the stat line is amazing, especially for a flyer and death touch. It's just the classic example of it's really expensive and usually doesn't do much when it's on the board because you have no resources left.
Yep.
And it's a bit of a win more card because you can only play it cheaply if you already have a solid board.
Makes
and
sense.
At that point, you're at least stable. You might already be snowballing. You don't need that card anymore. So
what you're saying is if you were to play it, it would probably have to be as a one-of. And then if it's a one-of also, it's like, maybe you're just better off with a 0-of.
Pretty much. If you have another high cost, high power card, something like that, that's a bit more flexible. Especially, you'd rather play an expensive card that does something immediately when it hits the board.
Yep.
Because it will often be the last card you'll play from your.
I have to remember there's going to be some bad cards in it. Everything's looked good so far.
Yeah. But I mean, they all look flashy. But
yeah, it does look flashy.
There are some.
It's a legendary. I thought legendary is a good. Right, next one.
Yeah, for sure.
We've got Antiquities on the Loose, which is a word that I didn't know existed until recently. There's another card game that has Antiquities somewhere. I think it's Lorcana. I was like, it's in a flavor text. I was like, is that a real word? But it is.
You never heard of antiquity dealers?
No, antiques dealers, I would call it in
right.
British English. Maybe that's just because I'm not very educated, but yeah, I don't know. Create 2 red and white spirit creature tokens. Then, if this spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand, put a +1/+1 counter on each spirit you control. Flashback, 4 energy and 2, so basically 6 for mana. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost, then exile it. So it initially costs 3. Those two, what's the symbol for this one?
Plains.
Plains.
Yeah.
So it's 2 plains and a colorless, I guess, or any color.
Yeah.
So you're paying 3, and right off the rip, what do you get for 3? You get 2 2/2s off the rip. So you pay 3, you get 2 2/2s. Sounds actually already pretty good. And then you've got that potential upside of later on, when it's in your graveyard. I imagine you can do this at any point.
Yep.
You can spend 6, which is a lot, and get it again. And you also basically have 3 3s, but also any other spirits.
Exactly. You can always replay it for that cost, but it is sorcery speed. It's not instant, so you can only do it in your turn.
And in Magic the Gathering, it's like you start the game with 0 mana and you can put 1 land down each turn, right? So
Exactly.
this would be like a turn 3 play. My expectation would be that on turn 3, getting 2 2/2s is actually pretty reasonable. And that the flashback, even though it's extremely expensive, it's like giving you a hand extension later on. I don't think it's great. I think that if you're looking for something on curve, if you're looking to be an aggressive deck, I would imagine going wide is very valuable. How good is a 2/2? I'm going to say that this card is a 6 out of 10. I think that if you're lacking something else on curve, you put it in. It just gives you a nice option on curve for some consistency. You said the format's quite snowbally as well. This seems like it probably does a decent job.
All right.
I don't like the flashback part. I like the actual first part. The flashback part's a bit too expensive for my taste.
Okay, that's fair. One thing you did not consider yet, though. So if you play it for the flashback cost, you do get the +1/+1 counters. So you get 2 more 2/2s, which are immediately going to be 3 3s. And if the first 2/2 stuck around on the board, they also grow to 3 3s.
But 6 feels like a lot.
That's
like
fair.
a lot.
That's fair. Okay, want to get to the conclusion?
Oh, yeah.
The win rate of this card is 64%. This is, I think, the 3rd highest win rate card of the set, something like that. Mainly because you wanted to be playing this in board-based strategies. So it's a very, very good aggression tool. Your evaluation with like card stats is really nice, I gotta admit. Like usually in Magic, you can more or less say per mana spent, you want 1/1 in stats.
Right.
So 3 mana for 4/4 in stats is a bit overstated, especially with the threat of growing. Like
and also across 2 bodies. 2 bodies is better than 1 usually.
Exactly.
In a lot of other games.
Especially in Magic, the blocker always has an advantage. If you're on defense, it can really stall the game nicely too. And it threatens to grow to like 4 3/3s. Also a card initially, when I saw it, was underrating, but after seeing the stats, I always picked it. Like this is such a bomb you usually want to first pick it. And after playing this with a while, I really understood its value.
I can see it.
The lingering threat of the spirits growing as well. And I should also add, this color has some synergies in the set where if you exile cards from your graveyard, some other creatures get buffs.
Right.
Some other things happen. So playing this for the flashback can be a complete blowout if you have even more benefits.
Yeah. And raising spirits is easier than taming them.
Yeah.
That's the flavor text.
True. And this would be a 10 out of 10, I have to admit. Limited.
Damn it.
In constructed, maybe not so much.
This one's tricky, right? Because I think I kind of can appreciate why the card's good, but I was maybe underestimating. It's hard to know like what a good stat on curve is, right?
Yeah.
As it turns out, that's very good.
And it's a pretty vanilla card, like especially compared to the completely spicy nonsense we had earlier. But yeah, sometimes, especially in the color white, it's like basically the Timmy color. It's just bid board, snowball, that kind of thing. It's really strong.
Makes sense.
Really strong.
Right, we've got another one. We've got quite a lot more.
Yeah.
We've got Zaerk, the guest lecturer. That's plains, right? So it's 1 and 2 plains. Swamps. Damn,
it gets complicated here. We're introducing a new card type. He's a planeswalker.
Right, and a planeswalker is a planeswalker. My gut feeling is, I could be totally wrong, but is it somehow a creature, which if it's attacked, you also take life points. Because in sorcery trading card game, I think they call the leader card like a planeswalker or something like that.
Damn, you played sorcery.
Yeah, once or
Oh,
twice.
a man of culture. What a connoisseur. Okay, I'll explain real quick what planeswalker do. I think that's only fair. So they're basically like an extra, like a commander, like a hero. So it's an extra creature that has its own life points, and you put it on like the top right of the board, kind of like your legend in Riftbound. But this can be attacked by your opponent instead of them attacking your face.
Okay.
So the bottom right, the loyalty counters, are the life points of the card.
Yep.
Each turn you can choose one of the effects. Some of the effects will always do a little thing, but give the creature extra life points.
Yep.
And then you can spend some of the loyalty counters or life points for a more significant effect. And usually most planeswalkers have one real blowout effect if you ever get to that many life points on the creature.
Right. So +1, surveil 2, -1, any number of target players each discard a card. Return target creature for -2 with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Yep.
And -7, flip 5 coins. Target opponent skips their next X turns, where X is the number of coins that came heads up. Oh, we're playing Pokemon now, aren't we?
Some proper
We're playing
RNG.
Pokemon.
Hey, this is for gamblers. Let's go.
So can you explain again what the +1, -1, exactly how you trigger that is?
Yeah, so once in each of your turns, you can just choose one. You can activate the planeswalker once at sorcery speed in each of your turns.
Yep.
One thing that's interesting to know, surveil means look at the top 2 cards of your deck.
Sure.
Put them back in any order or throw them in the graveyard if you don't like
you can throw them in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some cool synergy there. If there is a creature with mana value 3 or less, you can next turn try to pull it back.
Yeah.
If the Zaerk has enough life points.
And what the +1, -1, how do you, like what does that denote exactly?
It changes the loyalty counter right here, right? So he starts with 3 loyalty with 3 life. And if you do the surveilling, he gets 1 extra. So he'll be at 4.
I see.
If you choose any of these effects, like you revive the subsequent turns, he goes down to 2.
And is there any other way of like increasing his loyalty outside of the effect?
Usually, like in this set, not. Sometimes there are some very rare exceptions in cards, but
yeah. You know. I think this card is absolutely terrible. I'm going to give it a 0.1 out of 10.
Woo, that takes. Let's go. Okay, not falling for the traps. Why is it so terrible?
I mean, you're like, it's a card in your deck, right, that doesn't really do much. You play it, it's just going to sit there. It's probably going to get removed very quickly, I would imagine. And then you can surveil to put some stuff into your discard, sure, but I think I would rather just have like a body on the board rather than just like some little floaty guy in the top corner.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's your intuition is actually pretty good. So 0 out of 10, the conclusion here is this card has a 54% win rate. 55 is average, so this is slightly below average. One thing you did not factor in is you're paying 3 for a card that does nothing at first, but it can give you a body right away the turn it's played.
Sure.
If you return a creature with mana value 3 or less,
you're
paying 3 for a 3 mana body.
Sure.
But if the card stays on the board, it can continue getting value. Like, keep in mind, land draws late in the game are terrible, so surveilling becomes more important the longer the game progresses.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And for example, if you have no hand, like discarding can be pretty. Actually, wait, it can also target your opponent's discard, right? Any number of target players, right. Can be quite useful just for a card advantage. The main issue, though, is, and you are right about that, it is conditional. You already need something in the graveyard. If you play this on curve, you usually don't have a dead body yet.
Sure.
And at the same time, since this requires you to already have a board to stick around, you need blockers. It's a bit, again, of a snowbally card like with the Witherbloom earlier.
Yep.
Like, it's only good if you're already stable and you'd rather play cards that are so impactful on their own that they can switch from a losing game to a winning game.
Yeah, I think probably with my rating, I got really focused in on the -7 flip 5 coins and thought any card that has this effect can't be serious. And I probably underestimated the other 3. I think especially the surveil, really not recognizing actually in a game with lands. Like when I have played Magic and I've top decked a land when I don't want one, I'm like, oh,
Exactly.
That's not a good feeling. So I can definitely see how that's useful. Discarding a card, like targeted, being able to make your opponent discard is really valuable. And I can also see the fact that, okay, you can actually play this and immediately get something down on the board.
But I will add, non-targeted discards are also not as good in this game because your opponent can throw away a land that they have left over.
Makes sense.
So it's an acceptable card. Given that it's like mythic rarity, it's like a classic, again, it's like Timmy bait.
Sure.
And it is playable, but I have never in my life seen the -7 effect.
Yeah,
the card just doesn't survive that long on the board. Okay.
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Flow State, which somehow feels like a card I've heard of before, but probably not. It's 1/1, or it costs 1. It costs 2, rather. It costs a water. Or is it
island, an isola?
It's an island, okay.
Yeah.
And one any kind of color. Sorcery, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Then, if there is an instant card and a sorcery card in your graveyard, instead put 2 of them into your hand. Okay, this card's giga broken. 10 out of 10. Literally, it's broken.
What makes you think so?
So, I mean, it's Develop Your Brain from Disney Arcana.
Yeah.
Which is a 1 cost. Look at the top 2, put one in hand, one at the bottom. It's Develop Your Brain. It does cost more.
Yep.
But it's just consistency. Like, this is just the kind of card, especially when you've got lands, right? Like, that kind of effect to be able to scurry, or whatever you call it, where you like look at some cards, put one on the top, one on the bottom, becomes even more valuable, right? Like, I think even without the second part of the text, just like look at the top 3 cards, put one into your hand, the rest on the bottom, is already super reasonable. But then the extra part, if there is an instant card and a sorcery card in your graveyard, which is not a difficult condition to meet, also this is a sorcery card itself, put 2 of them into your hand. So it's actually drawing you a card while also like cycling through your deck. Like, this card is absolutely absurd. I would put this in my deck every single time, as many copies as possible.
Okay. Now here's an interesting one. I jumped to the conclusion right away.
Oh no.
In Limited, this card has a 57% win rate.
Okay.
So it's above average. It would probably be like a 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, if 5 is the average. In Constructed, this card is a million out of 10.
Okay.
This is, I think, the most expensive uncommon on the market right now, because multiple of the strongest decks on the format play 4 copies of it. Card Market, shout out. And
the sponsor. Thank you.
Yeah, most of your assessment was correct. The card is mostly giga broken if you pair it with creatures or enchantments that do something whenever you play a spell.
Right.
So you're just triggering cantrips, cycling through your decks, drawing more cantrips. There is a keyword that's called Prowess, which is on creatures, and whenever you cast a spell, get +1/+1 this turn, and you just turbo smork your opponent with those. The reason why this is only acceptable in Limited, well, there's 2 reasons. First of all, 2 mana is not that cheap in Magic. The other thing is, in Limited, it is not that easy to meet that condition.
Sure.
Sorcery and instant, especially on curve.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Makes sense.
Limited often ends in like top deck wars.
Sure.
And yeah, if you draw it early, it doesn't do much. If you draw it late, it's just 1 card for 1. It doesn't really give you card advantage. Of course, if you have the condition fulfilled, and there are some cards that you can draft that recycle cards from your graveyard.
Right.
So you can pull this back later in the game and it's guaranteed draw 2. Then it's sick.
Yeah.
So with the right build around, it can be a 10 out of 10.
I think it's also like, as part of my evaluation on it is like, okay, you're building a limited deck, right? And often the way this is going to work is you're going to have like your big pool of cards and you're just like looking, it's like, okay, what's the least worst card? And putting this in your deck, it's never going to be that bad, is it?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's if you have a lot of bombs to filter through your deck, it makes sense. That's another thing, though. In Constructed, the reason why this is a 10 out of 10 is you have some clear build around cards that you always want to find.
Right.
In Limited, usually you have a soup of more or less equally good cards that all do standalone stuff, and it doesn't really the filtering is not as important.
Makes sense. Interesting.
Right.
We have Together as One, Sorcery. I don't like that smile. Converge. Target player draws X cards, and it costs 6. Together as One deals X damage to any target, and you gain X life, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast this spell. The number of colors of mana. I mean, usually you're building a deck with 2 different mana costs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So target player draws 2 cards. 2 damage, and you gain 2 life. I mean, this seems so bad. I'm going to give this a -1 out of 10.
All right, we start with a -1 out of 10. Now I will chip in a little bit of extra info. Converge is a mechanic that is unique to Secrets of Strixhaven, I think, or at least it's very prominent in this.
Okay.
And it comes with a lot of cards in the set that do mana fixing.
Right.
There are some cards that let you tutor any land from your deck. There are some cards that can be tapped to give you mana of any color. So while it's not necessarily the most common thing, you can definitely build a so-called soup deck, which means a color soup, which plays 4 or 5 colors.
Wow.
So it comes at the cost of consistency, and you try to make up with the converge mechanic and just overall card quality.
And if it's within like the set, if there's loads of that stuff, you could maybe go that direction with the right pool.
For sure, for sure.
I wouldn't want to do that though.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's a bait.
Okay.
I don't want to do it. I just want to stick to my 2 colors.
Yeah. Okay. Spessy sticks to his guns, and we have the win rate reveal together as one clocks in at 66%, the highest win rate card of the set. Spessy, -100 out of 10. How does that feel?
Yeah, that's not ideal. But I mean, I guess a big part of the reason its win percentage is so high is because it's such a specific like niche. If you hit like the jackpot of your sealed pool, then you play it, and if you don't, you just don't play it, right?
You do make a good point. Like you just don't include this in your classic 2-color deck.
Yeah.
But like the way the draft usually works is you open it and you build around your bombs, right? You open packs and draft. This is usually always first or second pick in any pack.
Wow.
And even if you're in the 3rd pack,
Really?
you see this. For this card, it can easily be worth splashing a 3rd color or maybe even a 4th. Like even if up to that point you only have 2 colors, because even at 3 lands, right, it's deal 3, draw 3, heal 3.
Yeah.
Which is pretty solid. Keep in mind, creatures are usually not that huge and limited.
Sure.
Like deal 3 is solid removal. And best case scenario, of course, deal 5, draw 5, heal 5 is absurd.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Then ideally you play another card that can bring spells back from the graveyard to the whole fun thing again.
You've had me there.
I
knew I didn't like that smile.
This is a bait in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like the card looks really hard to pull off.
Yeah.
But it's a bomb. It's the bomb of the set.
Visionary's Dance.
Mm-hmm.
So it costs 7 overall. Sorcery, create 2 3/3 blue and red elemental creature tokens with flying. You pay 2, discard this card. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Oh, that's good. Oh, that is just consistency, right? Like I like the fact that this is got the opportunity to be used as the effect, but you can also just kind of pay 2 and just do that like develop your brain effect, like from Disney Arcana, where you look at the top 2, put 1 in your graveyard, 1 in your hand. Obviously, some cards you might want in your graveyard as well.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that just having it as that is, I mean, obviously you wouldn't put it just in your deck for that, but I can imagine it comes up very often that you just have 2 available, and you would go for it. The bigger question is how good is the actual ability of the card, right? Create 2 3/3 blue and red creature tokens with flying. For 7 seems extremely expensive. Flying could also be good. I think this card's like okay. I think that 7 seems really expensive to me. You know, if I compare it to the previous card where you could get on for 3, you get 2 2/2s. For this, you're paying 7, and they do have flying, sure. I think a lot of the time you're going to end up discarding it. And if the main reason, like the main thing you have it for in your deck is to discard it, just to cycle, I think it's probably not very good. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10.
Okay. Pretty solid assessment overall. I agree with most points. The conclusion is, let me check, actually 56%. So just like barely above average, pretty average card overall. For the reasons you mentioned. If you've never played Magic, like one thing you do need to realize, it's really hard to get to 7 mana.
Okay.
You start with 7 cards in your hand, you draw 1 card a turn on average.
Yeah.
Right? And out of the 40 cards, you usually play 17 lands. So you start with like 3 or 4 lands, and then it takes like a long time to go to 7 lands. Like you said, though, this card, because like if it didn't have the second part of the text, it would be terrible. But
for
because
sure.
you can cycle it and later pull it back from your graveyard with certain other cards and spells, it's actually nice. Also, flyers are really good in the late game in Magic because you usually get to the late game when there is a board lock. Like both players have a bunch of blockers and it makes no sense to attack for neither of them because the blockers are even better. And then flying over the blockers is really impactful as a potential win condition, as a threat. So yeah, I do like this card when I am in the colors, but usually just the one or two of at best.
Yeah, I can also see it's like that same sort of situation where when I'm trying to build my deck, I have like, okay, I'm always playing these. And then when you're like looking at, okay, what's like the last 2 or 3 slots? Yeah, okay, that's fine. Throw it in there.
Exactly.
Could be worse.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Rather vanilla card. This was also common. We go back to
this is a land. Libary of Alexandria. A land. Okay. So you can exert it and add a star.
Well, this is a neutral.
Oh, I can say tap.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of commentating for other card games, and tap, I think, in Magic, I think they've got it like...
You do say tap, yeah.
Yeah, but Magic, the tap comes from Magic, and what's the word? They've got like a rule where only Magic can have tap.
Really?
A patent or something. I think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Like copyright, patent, whatever.
Yeah, I think so. Because you're not supposed to say tap in any other card game. That's why it's always like exhausted or exerted in every other card game.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you can tap and add whatever that is, or you can tap and draw a card, activate only if you have exactly 7 cards in hand.
Okay, so the first thing is a neutral mana.
Okay.
So you cannot pay the swamp or plains or whatever it cost, but the gray mana.
So it's a neutral land that also has the opportunity. It's basically a neutral land, but it has the upside of potentially being able to pay 1 to draw a card, essentially. But only you have to have exactly 7 cards in hand. So I think it's actually probably quite good. I wouldn't want many of them, but like as a one-of, I think it could be good. I think I would want it in my deck as a one-of. A lot of the cards we've seen so far, can I look back at the other cards?
Sure.
How many of them I feel like a lot of them have got like colorless. Yeah, pretty much every card has. So I feel like as a one-of, could be okay. I can imagine that you're only going to have 7 cards near the start of the game. And then you're going to not have 7 cards later on. Which at that point, would you rather not just have any other kind of land? Maybe. I certainly wouldn't want more than 1, I think, in my deck. But I think as a one-of, you could probably just about get behind it. But I'm going to say, no, it's bad.
Okay, what's the rating? What's the verdict?
A 2.
2 out of 10. Okay.
I think you're never getting the effect.
Okay. I will first tell you the win rate, and then we can discuss the card a bit in detail, because this is a really interesting one. The win rate is 60%. It's, it would probably be like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
By that distribution, maybe even 8.5. This card is extremely rare to pull. It's an ancient card that basically got reprinted as a splash into this set.
Okay.
It's a so-called mystical archive card. So it's very rare to show up, but when it does, the true knowers, the connoisseurs, usually play this in almost any deck, except for maybe the soup deck where you would want 5 colors.
And it would be a one-of.
Yeah, usually you only find it as a one-of. Now, why is this card so good? So first of all, one thing to consider, lands can be tapped the turn they are played.
Oh,
right? You can tap them for mana the turn they're played. You can also tap them for their effect.
Yeah, okay.
Now, why is this card so good? How many cards do you draw at the beginning of a game in Magic?
7.
Right. So let's assume we go first.
Yeah, okay.
This is the first land you play. Usually you have no 1-drops, especially on a gray mana. What happens turn 2? You draw a card. How many do we have in hand?
Okay, we still have 7.
Yeah. Tap this, draw your 8th card, play a land, play a unit, you go down to 6 cards. Turn 3, you draw a card. What happens?
Yeah,
How many do we have in hand? 7.
It's interesting because when I was thinking about it, I don't think I verbalized it, but I was thinking it's probably a good thing to have early. But and in the late game, it's not going to be good. But I mean, no land's good in the late game, right? And
exactly.
You still need a certain amount of them.
Yeah, and usually your mana base is going to be fixed in the late game. So whether you draw a gray land or a red or blue land is usually not going to matter late game anymore. But if this is in your opening hand, no matter if you go first or second, you will get card advantage, and it usually even draws 2 or 3 cards over the course of the game.
Interesting.
for free almost. It's crazy.
It's a very cool card. I can see it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. If I knew that it was that rare, it's interesting how that probably would have swayed my opinion. Be like, yeah, it's a broken one of.
Yeah, but the Witherbloom is also very rare, and it's bait, man. It's bait.
Okay, we've got Magus of the Library.
See the thematic overlap? Libary of Alexandria.
Nicely done.
And we see it's actually from the same set. It is the mages of that exact library. Also a splash from a former set.
So it's 2 forest, creature, human, wizard. Not sure what that little symbol next to it means. You can tap and add a colorless mana, or you can tap and draw a card, activate only if you have exactly 7 cards in hand.
Boom.
And it's a 1/1 that you can play on turn 2. So, right, turn 1, you start at 7. Do you draw for your opening turn?
On the play, not on the draw, yes.
Okay, so say I'm going first. I start at 7, go to 6, I draw. Nah. I think it's bad. You need it to be the turn 1 play. Turn 2 play, and you can't tap it. It has summoning sickness. So it's a lot worse. I think this card's actually really bad. I think this is the worst card we've seen so far. 1/1 that you have to tap to add something. But it ramps. Okay, but it does ramp. Okay, I'm taking it all back. It ramps, right? You play it on turn 2, and then on your 3rd turn, you could play a 4-drop. How valuable is that actually going to be? I don't think it's going to be that valuable, but I could be totally wrong. I think it's not going to be that valuable. We've got a really similar card to this in Disney Lorcana, where one of the ink colors, the sapphire color blue, has a lot of turn 2 ramp plays, and actually so does Amber. So it's quite comparable to a lot of Lorcana cards. And compared to what the Lorcana versions of this does, it's really understated. You don't have that like immediate effect. You have to like tap it to do it, which leaves it vulnerable. It's only a 1/1. Also, it has to be specifically 2 green. I think it's bad. I think it's the worst card so far. I don't like it.
So what's the rating? Lower than minus 100 out of 10?
Yeah, we'll go minus. No, we'll give it a 1 out of 10.
Okay. First of all, the verdict is pretty darn accurate. You did well on this one. This is the 2nd lowest win rate card of the whole set. It's clocks in at 45% when drawn.
Damn.
For the reasons you mentioned. One thing I want to add compared to the Lorcana ramp, for example, this ramp is not permanent.
Yeah.
If this card gets removed, your ramp is gone.
Yeah.
You need to tap it every turn. You can't use it as a blocker or an attacker anymore. You can't use it to draw. And like you said, usually, sometimes it can make you draw 1 or 2 cards, but usually just the way the game unfolds, you play a land each turn, you play a card from hand each turn. You almost never get the draw effect in limited. Just understated, too low impact. I could see this card be better in constructed if you want to ramp into very specific game ending threats, and you can tutor them, like draw them specifically, but limited.
What is the little symbol next to human wizard mean?
That is both the rarity and the set it is originally from.
Right.
So the library had the same symbol.
Yep.
Because they are splashed over from the same set, but all the others have the Secrets of Strixhaven symbol.
Right. Okay, it's the set symbol.
The color is the rarity.
Yep. Perfect. Okay.
All right, moving on.
Growth curve. I mean, it's got to be a ramp card, first and foremost. You know why it's called ramp? Because of rampant growth from Magic the Gathering.
I had no idea. Yeah. Man, you are a card game historian.
Yeah, apparently.
What is going on?
Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, then double the number of 1/1 counter. It's not even a ramp card. That's just...
It ramps a unit, I guess.
Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, then double the number of 1/1 counters on that creature. Double. Exponential growth. I imagine 1/1 counters are kind of achievable. I mean, paying 2 for a 1/1 counter. We've been playing some Cyberpunk trading card game recently, and in Cyberpunk, a big thing that you do is you can equip gear, and it's a big deal being able to get those like extra stats every so often. So I imagine having the opportunity to give a 1/1. I mean, it's really a 2/2, right?
Yeah, it doubles immediately. So
it just seems
+2/+2.
It just seems really good. I think it's really good. It is like almost like a combat trick, right? It's sorcery, so you can't do it in your opponent's turn. But just that ability before you commit to an attack, surprise, suddenly your unit just gets that 1 extra stat that you need. I think it's pretty good already. And then you've got that.
But the sorcery speed is only in your main phases.
Right.
Like, even in your turn, you cannot do that as combat.
Sure.
Phase.
Okay. Makes sense. And with blockers, that makes things a bit different because I'm not considering that. But I think this card is like pretty okay just on its own without the fact that you could then have more counters and then it turns potentially really good really quickly, right? Like one extra 1/1 counter, suddenly this is basically giving you +4, right? Or +3, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. I like this card. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
A 9 out of 10.
I think it's really
All right.
good.
Okay. The conclusion, the verdict on this card, the official win rate clocks in at 48%.
I've had a stinker.
One of the lower win rate cards of the set. I will agree with you. If it was instant speed, this would probably be busted.
Okay.
With like as a permanent combat trick. I thought this card was good when I first saw it. I learned the hard way that it isn't. Why is it not good? What do you think?
Maybe there's not many other ways of getting 1/1 counters.
That's one of them. In limited, it's harder.
And then I'm guessing the other thing is because it's like you don't have that many cards in hand and it's like a low impact card. It's not something you can play on curve.
Yeah.
And then it's like, when do you actually even play it, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a bad top deck. It's not good on curve. It's not good in the late game. And it's at the end of the day, you're getting 2 counters over like 2/2 for -1 card in hand. You'd probably rather for just something else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good assessment. In limited, we usually go back to card game fundamentals. And what this card does is you put this on a card you already have. You threaten getting 2 for 1 whenever that unit dies in a bad trade or to remove it. And that is usually terrible. Like, in order to risk going 2 for 1, a card needs to have an insane effect.
Yeah, and I think like a big part of the reason I've underestimated it is how it interacts with blockers, right? Like in Disney Arcana, for example, there aren't blockers. So I could give this to one of my units, then make a favorable trade you didn't expect, and it doesn't need to be like an instant speed, right? Whereas in Magic, because of the way that blockers work, I guess it's somewhat different.
Yeah, your unit can just get chump blocked forever if you try to threaten lethal, but also if your opponent just plays one even bigger blocker.
Yep.
Like you make, I don't know, a 5/6 and your opponent plays a 6/6, your unit has no value anymore until that 6/6 is gone. So yeah, unfortunately, underwhelming card. So like, yeah, it will probably be like a 2 out of 10.
We've got 2 left.
Yeah,
not many. Go. And we are also, worth mentioning, we're going to be doing a Riftbound version of this on Peter's channel as well. So Peter's going to be rating some Riftbound cards.
Yeah, thanks for the shout out. I'm looking forward to it.
We've got Ark of Hunger. It costs 4 overall. It's an artifact. Great game. No, I actually never played Artifact.
It was a great game.
Nah, I don't
Underrated,
think it was. I don't think it was. Whenever one or more, I never played it. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, this artifact deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. You can mill a card. You may play that card this turn. Do you mill your own card? Mill your opponent's card? That's not very clear.
It's your card.
Okay. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, this artifact deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. Mill a card. You may play that card this turn. Ooh, it's like the Black Cauldron. From Disney Arcana.
Yeah. Trying to remember the effect. It might be somewhat similar.
It's like an artifact kind of card, and you can basically put a card from your graveyard underneath the Black Cauldron, or your discard, as it's called in Arcana, of course. Right. Yeah, you can like put it under it, and then you can play cards from there. So the fact that you can like mill the top card of your deck and play it, it's sort of like pseudo card draw, which actually makes me think that this card is extremely good. And it doesn't cost you anything to mill the card. Do artifacts have summoning sickness? I'm guessing no. Yeah. So you can play it immediately. Now, the other part, I think that's the better part of the effect, to be honest with you, in some ways. Like, you're saying that you're getting to top deck mode very often in limited, and therefore this is probably going to be pretty good. Is there likely to be much artifact removal? I would imagine not. And if someone has it, okay, fair enough. Good job. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, this artifact deals 1 damage to each opponent. I'm not sure that part of it's as valuable, to be honest with you. Having said that, if you mill the card, does that go to your graveyard and then it's played?
Yeah, it is in the graveyard, and for this turn, you can play it from the graveyard immediately.
I think this is my favorite card so far. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10.
It's perfectly accurate, mate. It comes in at 63%. It's like the 5th-ish highest win rate card of the set. And for the reasons you mentioned, one thing is the first half of the effect is really good again in like board lock scenarios.
Right.
If you cannot get through your opponent's blocker base, you can just put a clock on them.
Yep.
Another really cool synergy in this is like red and white both have a bunch of effects that exile cards from the graveyard, like the flashback from Antiquities of the Loose that we saw earlier. And you can just ping your opponent every time for that.
Yep.
So you do lose a lot of tempo the turn you play this. Very often you play your fourth land, you draw a card, you can't make use of the milled card the turn you play it. And sacrificing your turn 4 kind of sucks in limited.
Sure.
But you can allow to lose a bunch of life points in the wake, like in the following of it, because it will eventually get them back. Really good card. Probably my favorite of the set.
Is there much artifact removal?
No, that's also a good point. There's like 2 or 3 cards, but even if that happens, you're still going 1 card for 1 card.
Yeah.
Your opponent might have netted 1 or 2 mana of an advantage, but it's fine.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point.
But most of the time, it just sticks around for a couple of turns, and you just have a card advantage that's impossible to catch up to.
So we've got 1 card left, and what I'm going to say for sure is it's either really good or it's really bad. He's never going to leave an average card to the end. Okay. It's Time Warp from Riftbound. Take an extra turn after this one, and it costs 2? Okay, this is so broken. What do you mean? That's not a real card, is it?
Oh, mate.
That's not a real card. You know how much Time Warp costs in Riftbound?
Like 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card's banned, right? This card's banned.
Yeah, I couldn't resist to put 1 Easter egg in. This is part of the, I think, very first set ever printed. The first...
wow.
The first print of this card was 1993. This is just a newer reprint. This is not part of the set. This is illegal in almost any format.
Yeah.
The only one that I was able to play it in was the Powered Cube, which is a draft of the most broken cards in Magic's history thrown together.
Wow.
And even there, it has, by a large margin, the highest win rate. It's like 68% or something.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's ridiculous.
And there are a bunch of cards that can get cards from the graveyard back. You can basically loop this. You can get 3 extra turns or something.
How on earth did it get reprinted? That's what I want to know. Did they just reprint it for people like doing that game mode, basically?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just for the special.
Yeah.
And maybe in Commander, because there's just going to be 1 out of 100 of these in the deck.
Right.
Like Commander is a forced singleton format.
Yes.
You can only run each card once. But in Standard, this would be the most broken thing. In Limited, it's completely insane.
That's crazy that they stole the name from Riftbound as well. Maybe not.
The historian strikes again.
Time Walk.
Yeah, just wanted to end it with a fun one here. So what's your takeaway on the...
I want to play some Magic. To be honest, I want Time Warp in my deck. I think I did pretty good. I think the one that I'm most annoyed about that I did badly on is this one.
The Witherbloom, the bait. You really fell for the hook.
It. I'm a bit sad about that one. But overall, I think I did pretty good.
Yeah.
Take it.
But I get it also. We had this early on. Like, you don't really get a feel yet for how expensive potential 8 mana really is. So even 5 or 6 mana. And it's also special and limited. You just need to take into account, like, often you don't have a board or you're in top deck mode. And it's like, you kind of got to evaluate cards more for standalone face value rather than for combo potential.
Yeah. Well, Peter, thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be doing a Riftbound version of this as well, thanks to Card Market. If you guys want me to rate more Magic the Gathering cards with Peter, let us know in the comments below. Give the video a like, subscribe, and check out Fresh Lobster's channel as well, where he's going to be rating Riftbound cards.
Yeah. Or any other card games. If you want to see them, suggestions in the comments.
Please do.
Much appreciated.
Bye. Bye.